Well, hey everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope y'all had a pleasant weekend out there. Good one here. I'm just having a lazy Sunday after getting back to town. I slept late today and yeah, I'm just kind of rolling with it through today. Did get out and get a little sun earlier and I'm being productive. I'm doing a video. So, hey, you need to just take it easy sometime. Anyhow, today I want to talk about a practical and rational approach to a raw food diet. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you go and hit that subscribe button, then be sure you check on the little bell and check send notifications to stay subscribed to the channel. Yeah, it was a nice day. It's we're getting into summer now. There's already a haze out there. It's not cloudy, but we get that a lot when the real heat starts coming in. This was the first weekend I actually felt hot. I stood outside, I think it was, what day was it? Friday, I believe. Or maybe it's Saturday. No, Friday. And I said, yeah, it's hot, not just sunny anymore. But anyhow, so what is a rational and practical approach to this lifestyle? You might have clicked on it just for that. If you've seen a lot of the raw vegan stuff out there, you're like, really? Can you be normal on a raw food diet? Are there any normal people out there on a raw food diet? And of course there are. It's one of those things, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Sometimes I go just cruising around on YouTube and I see smaller accounts and I see a lot of good practical advice out there, but people like sensationalism. Sensational videos get a lot more views, and then when the thing that has the most views or the loudest wheel gets that grease. You feel me? So no, you can do this in a rational and practical way. And like I say, it's all about, make it yours, do it yourself, research on your own. A lot of this is just going to be practical common sense stuff, and you might say, oh well, this is a beginner's video, but maybe it is for everybody. Maybe all these videos are for everybody, because there's constantly, I never do a video that somebody's like, well, I can't do it because of this. I've been trying to do it for 4 years because of this, blah, 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 blah. And I try to listen to the reasoning that people say a lot of times, and I go back to the same thing over and over and over. It's kind of the crazy that out there influences people to think that anything less than fully raw is a failure. And then you can even dive a little bit deeper when you get in with the whole stuff, like if the constant fasting and the constant, we can go a little bit deeper, and the constant breaking down every single ingredient and little things like, oh no, you really shouldn't eat this and this and that. Just keep a practical approach to this and do the best you can. And what does do the best you can mean? It just means there's a number, I've got several examples of that. Eat fresh as much as possible. Not everybody gets, there's people trying to do this lifestyle in different parts of the world. A lot of people don't get a ton of fresh stuff, but I would say maybe focus on what you can get fresh. Always try to choose fresh, and if you have a fruit or something in your area that is very abundant, it may not be your favorite, it may not be something you would necessarily want to make a staple, but if it's fresh, always going to be better if it's fresh. So try to get fresh as much as possible. I get this a lot, and it's actually, and a lot of this lifestyle is common sense. It's not like learning some esoteric thing that's completely foreign. A lot of it is just simply common sense. One thing I get asked all the time, I get this more on Instagram than others, and it's always prefaced in a very serious way, how much organic do you eat? What are your what are your thoughts on organic? And I'm always thinking, what do you mean, what are my thoughts on organic? I mean, before I even say anything, think of the most common sense answer that you can think of. What would you say? Don't try to have the right answer. Just use common sense. Well, when it comes to organic, I'm not going to do a video on that because that would be about a 30-second video. When it comes to organic, eat organic if you can. Eat organic if you, number one, have access to it in your area. Eat organic, number two, if you are able to afford it. Yes, 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 yes. So I never quite understand when somebody asks my thoughts on it. I mean, that's just common. If you can afford it, pay for it. Now, some people go out of their way. There's some people that are going straight organic, and they actually can't really afford it, and they're spending a ton of money. But that you got to decide for yourself right there. But I would just say, I'm in Alabama right now. I'm not eating a lot of organic. You know, I've been in certain places in Costa Rica where I've eaten more organic, but until I get back to a certain particular spot in Costa Rica that I'm dreaming of, I you know, I don't get any organic here. Very, very, very little organic here. So yeah, if you can, do it. Always do it. Make the best decisions. Um, People that like, here's one too where I say, you know, it's always about being perfect. Too many people measure this lifestyle or measure the raw part of it on how raw they are, and it's all about how much raw. All about how much raw. It's never about like actual nutrition and what we're putting into our bodies. And I would just say, like I say, always make the best decisions. If you need or if you just want to eat cooked to make this lifestyle work for you, the one thing I would say is try to make smart decisions when you're eating cooked food. You know, like one of my go-tos, and I've actually got some in there right now. I don't know if I'm going to do it no, I'm probably not going to do it today. But sweet potatoes, you know, instead of just looking at it like, okay, I'm going to fall off the wagon and eat just whatever cooked, make smart decisions. Sweet potatoes, quinoa, fresh vegetables, broccoli, just different things like that. But when you eat cooked, you know, try to make it as clean as possible. That's what I always do. I mean, you know, I don't use a lot of stuff on mine. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends on the mood and where I'm at the time. But yeah, a lot of times I'll just, you know, like for instance, one of my favorite meals is I'll steam like 3 or 4 sweet potatoes, and I'll cook a pot of collard greens, like about a pound of collard greens. And then I'll just kind of mix all that up together, put a little bit of hot pepper sauce on there, and I'm good to go. And it helps a lot. And that's why I've mentioned before, like you even might want to, if you eat cooked, if you have to eat cooked, if you need to eat cooked, if you can't get enough raw or enough things that you enjoy raw where you are, that's the good thing too, is to have some greens with that cooked food. I found that either having, like, you know, when I eat different things, like having those collard greens with it really helps it. And when I have collard greens and sweet potatoes, I barely can tell a difference in digestion between eating that and raw food. So, you know, just try to make smart choices when you're eating cooked food. Eat a variety of colors. I know, you know, sometimes I have to kind of go back and forth, and I think, and I do this and that, and sometimes I think maybe I'm misunderstood when I talk about mono meals. And especially somebody mentioned this, I think while I was out of town the other day, about, do you just eat? No, I don't eat all mono meals. I like mono meals. They work very well for the body. But no, I like to get, and it's sometimes when I'm talking about, oh, I like to just eat a lot of stuff or eat one thing, they think like, oh, I'm just eating one fruit. I advise eating a variety of fruits. I advise eating a variety of vegetables. Get a color, get that rainbow color, get as many colors in there as possible. Now, more specific for the raw part of it, and this will probably lead into about the finish of this video, is for me, the base is always going to be fruit and greens, like I say, I'm feeling good, you know, since I've been having more of the greens, and I've just bought a bag of kale a little while ago. But you know, no matter what you're doing, maybe you're not fully raw, maybe you're not trying to be fully raw, but just try to make sure you're getting in that fruit and greens. I don't make that. I definitely don't make it every day. I try to get a pound of greens in, but that's a lot of eating. And if I don't have a salad in a day, it's like I got to really cram some of that kale in a smoothie. But that's a good combination for me. I've liked that base. That's why I'm always talking about that smoothie. That's why I have a green smoothie, you know, whatever's going on. I usually have a green smoothie every day when I'm here at home. And this I put a few things in there if you want to do that. And look into spirulina. I've just been using it for years. I'm no spirulina expert. The brand I use is Nusci, Nusci on Amazon. But, you know, that's not I'm not recommending it because I'm thinking it's like a next level spirulina. It's just one I've been using for a while. So, but the basis, I say, get in those smoothies. It satiates you. You're getting a lot of good stuff. Make yourself a smoothie with fruit, greens, and hemp seeds. I did that this morning. Now, I did use my spirulina, but you can make your decisions on that. But that's a good, solid, keep you going. You're getting lots of good nutrition in there. You use your hemp seeds, you use your omegas, you use your flax seeds. That gives you some good omega-3 fat. Helps digest those greens. But yeah, just keep it simple and keep it common sense. Anytime I tell you what, try, even if you ask questions to people, the next time you're about to ask a question, and write it down and see what your answer is from the person you're asking. Just come up with your own answer, common sense. You know, what does your common sense say about what you're asking? What does your common sense say about what you're about to eat or the choices you're going to make? And most of the time, you know, with just a little bit of education on this lifestyle and whatever, you're going to be all right. But don't get in, you know, a rational and practical approach is really the only way you're going to succeed on this lifestyle. The ones I've just keep seeing fall by the wayside, are the ones that did all this gimmicky stuff for so long, and they held on and they doubled down, and even when it wasn't working, they were stubborn. So anyhow, common sense. Hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.